Hello everyone and welcome to another YouTube video. I am Hype the Commentator and thank you all for joining me today. Today we are taking a look at Elimination Chamber 2010. The Intercontinental Championship was on the line. Drew McIntyre versus Kane. How fitting, with Elimination Chamber just a few days away. We're taking a look at somebody who's looking to write their story to WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre has his eyes set on winning the Elimination Chamber and facing Seth freaking Rollins at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship. Drew wants to finish his story, and that story is winning a World Championship at WrestleMania in front of fans. And to go back on that a bit more, back in 2020 during the pandemic, the world shut down. But before that, Drew McIntyre won the Royal Rumble. In the 2020 Royal Rumble, the fans were electric. They were ready to see it. Drew McIntyre wins the Royal Rumble. And then the world falls apart. COVID-19 hits. And he goes on to slay the Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar to become the new WWE Champion. But it was all throughout the pandemic era, throughout the Thunderdome era. Can Drew McIntyre do it? Will he walk out of Elimination Chamber as the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship? And will he go on to dethrone the World Heavyweight Champion, Seth freaking Rollins? He's got 5 of the very best in front of him, including Logan Paul, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley. Things aren't looking too good. The chances aren't looking too good. But anyways, let's get right into this match. It's Kane and Drew McIntyre. All right, here we go. The Intercontinental Championship is on the line. If you're Drew McIntyre, what do you got to do to retain your Intercontinental Championship against a guy like Kane? You got to be thinking, I got to keep the big man down, but make no mistake about it, Drew McIntyre measures up pretty well when it comes to the big red machine Kane. Drew McIntyre 6'6", 6'7". Kane in control at the moment. Drew McIntyre labeled as the chosen one by the chairman of the board. Oh, and a drop kick from Kane. 1. Drew McIntyre kicks out at 1. Kane with a side headlock takeover. Kane is as tough and rough as they come. So one of the very best to ever do it. He may be a monster. He may be a big red machine. He may nearly be 7 foot tall. But make no mistake about his technical skills when it comes to being in the ring. Drew McIntyre sends Kane to the ropes. But Kane out-muscles Drew McIntyre with a shoulder tackle. 1. Hooked the inside leg. Oh, a headlock takeover again from Kane. Keeping Drew McIntyre down. This is interesting from Kane. We don't always see this from Kane. This is a unique style from Kane. We don't always see this from him. Going for that headlock takeover. Finding something and repeatedly holding on to it. We never see somebody that's also able to measure up in height and size to Kane. It doesn't happen too often. We've seen it with The Big Show and The Undertaker. Those are the only 2 people we've really ever seen that with. But a swinging neckbreaker from Kane, taking on McIntyre 1, 2, and McIntyre kicks at it 2. McIntyre, the Intercontinental Champion, sent into the turnbuckles, but moves out of the way. McIntyre looking to break down Kane here in the corner. This is brilliant. Shot after shot. Keep your opponent isolated in the corner. But make sure you don't get disqualified, because you do have till the count of 5 to get your opponent out of the corner because of that rope break. You are in that corner by the ropes. And Kane with a huge clothesline to Drew McIntyre. What a big boot. And with WrestleMania just around the corner, this is the last stop the last big stop to WrestleMania. Will Drew walk in to WrestleMania as the Intercontinental Champion? Or will Kane prevent that from happening? And will the Big Red Machine become Intercontinental Champion? But Drew McIntyre going after that left knee of Kane. When you're going after a body part of your opponent, you also got to think about, well, what moves do they do? What body part would make sense to make it most effective to take out of play? And for Drew McIntyre, going after that knee, because that weight of the knee, if it collapses under pressure, well, he's going to fall down trying to hit Drew McIntyre with a choke slam. That choke slam is essential in Kane's repertoire, and Drew McIntyre ultimately trying to make it ineffective and take it out of play. But Drew McIntyre in control, going after Kane in the corner. Oh, what an uppercut from Kane. Buys himself a little bit of time, but Drew, once again, going after that knee. Oh, and the knees to the arm. Wow. Very interesting from Drew McIntyre. And now going after the arm. Look at the way that Drew McIntyre is putting all that pressure on the neck, all that pressure on the arm of Kane. Kane tries to make it back up to his feet. Drew McIntyre still holding on. Kane back up to one knee. Look at that. Drew McIntyre able to roll through. That's brilliant from the young star. Look at the strategy. Keeping Kane down is a great strategy. You're keeping Kane off his feet, but Kane instead says, nah, I'm going to throw you outside the ring. And that was desperate. Desperate times allowed Kane to push through, sending Drew McIntyre over the top, buying himself some time. But you can see the damage that's been done. Kane holding onto that shoulder, limping a little bit from that knee. That chokeslam may be ineffective here. Not only did Drew McIntyre go after that knee, but he may not even be able to lift Drew McIntyre up if that arm's out of play. Oh, and a boot right to the head and the arm. And again, flatliner to the arm. Drew McIntyre goes with a cover. Only enough for a 1 count, though. And once again, Drew McIntyre going after the arm of Kane. This is brilliant. You're going after that arm. You're nearly making your opponent ineffective, making their biggest move ineffective. Driving all that weight on that shoulder, driving that forearm right into the jaw to put more pressure on that arm that he's going after. Kane trying to break free. You can see Kane trying to fight with everything he's got as his face turns red. I mean, they do call him the Big Red Machine. Kane trying, but now the knee of McIntyre leaning on the head of Kane, preventing him from getting any leeway, preventing him from finding a way out of this, as Drew McIntyre puts more and more pressure on that arm. Kane's been in this hold for a long time. If Kane goes to that chokeslam, he's going to have a hard time picking up McIntyre. And that's exactly what you want if you're McIntyre. McIntyre gets sent in the ropes. Big boot to Kane. Future shot coming right up. This is it. McIntyre's going to retain. Oh, but instead a huge back body drop out of desperation from Kane. Kane, big boot. Knocks Drew McIntyre right off his feet. What an uppercut from McIntyre. And a right and another right. Kane sending McIntyre into the corner with a huge splash. And Kane starting to find his way back in this, getting fired up, but McIntyre comes back with a back elbow on the second rope. Second turnbuckle, rather, and gets caught with a huge uppercut. He's out. 1, 2. Oh, but Drew McIntyre gets the shoulder up at 2.5. We were just moments away. We were just a moment away from crowning a new Intercontinental Champion. Let's take a look at that big boot again. Kane with that sidewalk slam. 1, 2. McIntyre once again getting that shoulder up at the count of 2. Well, you can definitely see that Kane's got some wear down on Drew McIntyre, but also Kane's has damage done to himself in the process. Kane can head up to the top. We don't see this every day from the big red machine. Turn around. Oh my God, what a right from Kane off the top. And, oh my, this could be the first defeat of Drew McIntyre's career. Chokeslam coming right up. And moved out of the way. Kane sending McIntyre into that top turnbuckle. Now Kane and McIntyre were on the ring apron, but a big boot sends McIntyre onto the floor. And now Kane needs to realize you got to get your opponent back in the ring. There's champion's advantage. You can be counted out. You can be disqualified out here. There's just so many elements going on the outside of the ring that could end this match not in your favor. And the ref at the count of 2. Head first, McIntyre eats those solid steel steps. Already halfway there. At a count of 5. And now Kane realizes, hey, okay, I got to beat McIntyre in the ring if I want to be the Intercontinental Champion. Drew McIntyre begging Kane. Begging him. But a big boot. And now stomping away on McIntyre. McIntyre perhaps had enough. What a left shot to Kane. Oh, and Kane sending Drew McIntyre right on that guardrail. And a headbutt to McIntyre. The Intercontinental Champion really taking a beating right now from the former WWE Champion. Let's not forget, as I mentioned, Kane is a former WWE Champion. Former multi-time tag team champion alongside his other half of the Brothers of Destruction, who've had their fair share of differences. The Undertaker referee didn't see the thumb to the eye. Brilliant future shock DDT. 1, 2, 3. And Drew McIntyre retains the Intercontinental Championship and rolls out of the ring as fast as he can. The ref never saw it. The ref doesn't know about the thumb to the eye. And then the future shock DDT would allow the chosen one to leave Elimination Chamber as the Intercontinental Champion. All right, and that was Drew McIntyre versus Kane for the Intercontinental Championship at Elimination Chamber 2010. And as you can see, well, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Drew McIntyre always finding a cheap way to win. That thumb to the eye of Kane while the ref wasn't looking. Future shock DDT. Kind of reminds me of what we saw this past Monday on Raw. Hypocrite and Drew McIntyre, who said, let me go for the Claymore kick after Cody Rhodes was Samoan spiked by Solo Sikoa. Even after Drew McIntyre has said how much he hates the bloodline. But nonetheless, Drew McIntyre gave Cody Rhodes a hard loss. And yeah, thank you all for joining me for another YouTube video. And don't forget to follow me on all my socials. Instagram, Hype the Commentator. On X, it's Hype Commentator. On YouTube, of course, it's Hype the Commentator. On Twitch, it's twitch.tv/Hype the Commentator. And on TikTok, it's Hype the Commentator. But instead of an R, it's a 7 at the end. And with that being said, thank you all very much, and I will see you all in the next one.